Welcome to the Meeple Mentor channel. I'm Jared, and we are about to play Dinosaur World. Let's take a look. I'll show you how. Feel free to pause the video as needed to follow along with your copy of the game. My goal is this video can not only teach you to play, but can be shown at the game table to help set up and teach the game at your next game session. As part of that goal, I've added chapter timestamps in the description to the different sections of the tutorial to easily recap relevant rules for you. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell below the video so you don't miss any of my latest content. Dinosaur World is a sequel to Dinosaur Island and takes place after the creation of dinosaurs has become public knowledge. Now, new theme parks come about regularly and even start operating before being finished. Park visitors must still be careful of the very dangerous dinosaurs to not end up becoming lunch. In the game, players will be drafting workers each round to use to build their parks, expanding locations, gaining DNA, creating dinosaurs, and conducting shows for patrons on Jeep tours of the park. Through creating dinosaurs and giving exciting tours, players will try to earn the most victory points over the course of the game. But beware of letting too many guests die, or you'll lose lots of points at the end. To start setting up, place the 3 central island boards in the middle of the table. Lay out the public notice board nearby as well with the pink round marker cube at the top of the track. Create supply piles of the dinosaurs, herbivores, small carnivores, and large carnivores. Make a pool of the small numbered boredom tokens and a pool for all the worker meeples. You should create supply piles for the death tokens, coin money, and the 3 danger dice. All the DNA dice should go into the bag. Sort out all the different large hex tiles by their backs. There will be 4 stacks of attractions as shown by these icons. Place these in face-up stacks on the central board. There are 30 special building tiles that have this multicolored icon on the backs, plus the letter A, B, or C. Sort these into their letters and shuffle them face down separately. Then create a single stack of them with C at the bottom, followed by B tiles, then the A tiles. Put this stack face down in the slot for it on the Special Buildings Island board. Then reveal the top 4 to go face up in the 4 spots for them. Take the 17 dinosaur paddock tiles with this icon on the backs and shuffle them into a stack. Put it face down in the slot for it on the Dinosaur Enclosure Island board. Reveal the top 3 into the spots for them. Shuffle all the worker database cards into a face-down stack on the table. Separate the 3 objective card types by their letter and shuffle each separately. Draw 1 from each and return the rest of the objective cards to the box. The 3 objectives revealed will be face up on the table for all players to see. Everyone should choose a color to be from the 4 available and take the lab board and park board to keep in front of them. The park board should be on the right side, leaving you room out to the right to build your park with tiles during the game. Then collect all the player pieces in your color. 12 cubes, 3 objective markers, a Jeeple token, 5 Jeeple bonus tokens, and 5 Jeeple route tokens. You can also give to each player an excess token for the security, victory points, and threat. Each player should take a welcome center tile and place it in the middle space of their park board. Their Jeeple token should sit on their welcome center. Player cubes should be placed all along the lab board. The first 3 DNA types start at 2, the next 3 at 1. Then place cubes at 0 for the threat security and Jeeple upgrade track. Place 3 route markers on the Jeeple upgrade track on the 3, 4, and 5, marking the first slot of the zones. The other 2 can go on the table below the park board. Players should choose one of the 5 bonus tokens to gain immediately and add it to the bottom notch on the upgrade track. The bonuses placed on the track are also given every round. Keep the remaining bonus tokens in front of you to be chosen later when earned. Players can put their 3 objective tokens next to the objective cards. Everyone should put one of their cubes on the 0 space of the excitement track and the victory point track. The first player will be the person who most recently trained a raptor to respond to hand signals. Otherwise, randomize it and give them the first player marker. Place their remaining cube at 1 on the turn track with the other players following in clockwise order. The first player should start with 8 coins, second player 9, third 10, and fourth 11. Next, players will get to draft their 2 starting park tiles, which will be placed in their park touching any free side of their welcome center. To do this, reveal tiles from the special building stack equal to the number of players plus 1. Do the same for the dinosaur paddock tiles. Begin a snake draft for these so each player ends up with 1 dino paddock and 1 special building. The first player chooses any tile of their choice and adds it to their park. Each player in turn order also chooses a tile from these and does the same. The last player then chooses their second tile, followed by the next players in reverse turn order, so the first player chooses their second tile last. Place the leftover paddock and building tiles into separate discard piles near the stacks. Check for any tiles that have a lightning bolt and victory point icon next to their printed tile name. Players that put them in their park get to score those points immediately on the victory point track. With that, you're set up and ready to play. The game plays over 5 rounds as tracked on the notice board. Once the pink cube reaches the end, the game ends immediately. During a round, you'll be drafting workers to run your park for the season, using them to build the park and operate the park in 2 back-to-back phases. So you must think ahead on which workers you might need and how many to save for the operation of the park. A single round follows through 5 phases in order each time: hire workers, public actions, private actions, Jeeple Tour, and income and cleanup. All players complete each phase before anyone moves on to the next phase. Additionally, players can score the objective cards at any time during the round. Whenever a player has accomplished the task, they can place one of their markers on the card, covering up the leftmost victory points shown. They'll get to score that immediately. Only the first 3 players to achieve the objective can claim it. Also, when multiple players achieve the objective in the same phase of a round, the player higher in turn order gets the higher spot on the card. In the first phase of a round, draw and reveal a number of worker database cards from the deck equal to the number of players in the game plus 1. Then, in turn order, each player gets to choose one of them and collect the shown workers in the colors and shapes depicted. Take them from the supply and keep them in front of you for now to be used in a bit. The cards can then be discarded to a discard pile. Whenever the deck runs out, reshuffle the discard pile to make a new draw deck. In the second phase, players will get to take public actions found on the central island boards. To start, draw out a number of random DNA dice from the bag equal to the player count plus 2. Roll these and place them on the gather DNA spaces on the central island board for it. Now players can start doing actions one at a time in player turn order. Make sure you reference your turn order position on the notice board. There are 4 public actions possible, using workers, coins, or a combination of both to do them. The phase continues until all players have chosen to pass. No one is required to take any actions if they don't want to, opting instead to save all their money and workers for the next phases. Once passed, the player is out of the phase and is skipped. Generally, the public actions are about gaining DNA and adding new tiles to your park. I'll go over all the possible actions a bit later in the tutorial. In the third phase, players will get to simultaneously take private actions in their parks. The private actions only affect your own park, so these can all take place at the same time. The actions possible are shown on your vertical park board. There are 5 possible private actions, each having 3 slots under them for workers to go. They can be taken in any order. To take one of the actions, place one of your available workers on an empty slot under the action you want to take. Always place workers from left to right, so each action can be done up to 3 times each round, as long as you have the workers. Any color worker can be used to take the actions, but some worker types provide special skills when used to take specific actions. I'll cover more on each of them later. You may want to save some workers for the next phase if you have special actions to take while doing your Jeeple Tour. After all players have declared they are finished with their private actions, you'll then move on to the 4th phase, the Jeeple Tour. The tours can be done simultaneously as well, since these only affect the players' parks. For your first round, you may choose to do it in turn order until everyone's comfortable with how the game proceeds. During this phase, players will get to move their Jeeple from tile to activate tiles placed in the park. The Jeeple always starts at the Welcome Center tile or park entrance. You should know that when entering the 4th round, all players will flip over the Welcome Center tile and place it in a new location in their park that is at least 3 spaces away from its previous spot. From then on in the game, your Jeeple starts its tour there. The total distance it can go is equal to the number of route tokens you've unlocked. Everyone starts the game with 2, so you can visit 2 tiles. When moving the Jeeple, put it on an adjacent tile in any direction and put one of your available route tokens on the tile just exited. Once placed, the arrow doesn't move and you can't return there for the rest of the tour. When your Jeeple enters a tile, you can choose to activate the tile or not. Some tiles require you to spend a worker Meeple and or resources to activate it. When a tile activates, you generate excitement, shown by the number in the green triangle. However, sometimes visitors have grown bored and the tile will have a boredom token on it. This number subtracts from the excitement generated. If it's a negative number, you must pay that by moving back your excitement cube on the excitement track. If you can't spend the excitement value required, you can't activate that tile. Once you've placed your last available route token, the tour is over. You may activate the final tile reached and then end the tour. Once everyone's tours have ended, move on to the final phase. The last phase of the round is income and cleanup. All players will do the following steps together. First, return the Jeeple back to your welcome center or park entrance. Remove all your route tokens used and put them back below your park. Next, gain the benefits of all the Jeeple bonus tokens slotted into your upgrade track. Now look at the position of your excitement cube on the track. Gain the coins shown on your current space. Once everyone's collected their coins, reset all the markers back to 0. Then everyone returns all used workers to the supply. Unused workers can be kept for the next round. Next, everyone must evaluate the threat of their park by comparing the threat value to the security track value. If your threat is more than your security, gain death tokens equal to the amount that your threat exceeds your security. Looking at the central island boards, return any leftover DNA dice to the bag. Discard the 2 dinosaur paddock tiles from the end of the track and put them in a discard pile. Slide the remaining one forward and reveal new tiles to fill the empty spaces. Do the same for the special building tiles. Follow the arrows printed on the board to see which space the tiles slide into. If the dinosaur paddock stack ever runs out, reshuffle the discards into a new stack. However, don't reshuffle the special buildings if they're empty. When those run out, no more special buildings will come out for the rest of the game. Lastly, you'll clean up the notice board. Readjust the turn order markers on the turn order track. The player with the fewest victory points will become first, with the player with the most going last. In a tie, the tied markers reverse their relative positions. Finally, advance the round marker forward to the next numbered round space. The spots between are reminders to reset everyone's excitement to 0 between rounds, and to place your park entrance out at the start of round 4. If reaching the end space, the game immediately ends. However, players can optionally play the long game and play 1 additional full round to do a total of 6. There are 4 possible actions that can be taken during the public actions phase. Most require workers to be spent and offer bonuses for certain worker colors used. During this phase, players will do one of these actions at a time in turn order or pass. Once passed, they stay out until everyone's done. The first I'll talk about is building an attraction, as it's the only one that doesn't require you to spend workers. There are 4 types of attractions, and each player can have at most 1 of each. To build one, pay the coin cost shown in the top left of the tile and take the tile. Anytime you gain a new tile, immediately place it in your park adjacent to at least one other tile in your park. On the other island board, you can purchase a new dinosaur paddock from the 3 face-up as an action. The coin cost is once again found in the top left of the tile next to the name. There's 3 general types of dinosaurs marked on the paddocks by the outline color and icon. The red are most dangerous and green are least dangerous. In addition to paying the coin cost, you must also spend workers to take one of these tiles. Either pay any 2 workers to the supply or 1 green administrator worker. The dinosaur paddocks do not come with dinosaurs. You'll still need to create them in the next phase. Dinosaur paddocks are not allowed to touch other paddocks in your park. If there's no valid spot for it to go, you can't buy it. When done, shift the tiles to fill the empty space and reveal a new tile from the stack. Follow the arrows printed on the board. You can gather DNA from one of the rolled DNA dice on this island as well. To do this action, spend 1, 2, or 3 workers to the supply to gain the DNA shown on a single die of your choice. The number of workers used multiplies what's shown on the die. So, if it shows 1 DNA, using 3 will give you 3 of it, but if it shows 2 DNA, you'll get 6 of them. Mark the DNA earned on your lab board on the corresponding DNA type, moving up your cube markers. After gathering the DNA on your board, return the DNA die chosen back to the bag. Note that there are 3 basic DNA types and 3 advanced DNA types. When you see this icon, it means gain any basic DNA of your choice. This icon means gain any advanced DNA of your choice. For each blue scientist worker you use to gather DNA, you gain a bonus DNA of any type you want. The last public action available is on the final island board. You can build a special building from any of the 4 face up here. Pay the coin cost shown at the top and spend 1 worker of any color to the supply to take a tile. Most of these have 1 or more worker spaces printed on them that allow specific worker types to go there during a Jeeple Tour to activate them. The color outline and icons in the corner match up with the type of workers that will be needed during the tour. Place the tile in your park like normal, adjacent to an existing tile. If it shows a lightning bolt and victory point number near the title, score those points immediately on the VP track. The excitement level at the bottom does not give you any boost until the tile is visited and activated during the Jeeple Tour later. After adding the new tile to your park, shift the remaining tiles forward along the arrow's path and reveal a new tile from the stack. Remember that once this stack is emptied, there will be no more special buildings available. In the private actions phase, players can simultaneously take actions using available workers on one of the 5 possible actions shown on their park board. Any worker color can be used to take any of these actions, but some types give special bonuses for certain actions. Each action can be done up to 3 times, shown by the 3 spots for workers beneath them. You may choose which actions to do in whatever order you like, as long as you spend a worker for each. You should also think about saving some workers for the Jeeple Tour phase right after. The DNA refinement action lets you make a DNA exchange following the shown recipes. The double arrows indicate you could make the exchange either way, so you could spend an advanced DNA to get the 2 basic DNA shown to the left, or spend the shown 2 basic DNA to get 1 advanced DNA to the right. Each worker placed here lets you make 1 exchange. Additionally, using a blue scientist lets you gain 1 bonus basic DNA of your choice after you make your exchange. The venture capitalist funding action lets you gain money in decreasing returns. The first time you take the action, you gain 3 coins from the supply. The second time, gain 2. The third time in the phase, gain only 1 coin. However, should you use a green administrator, you'll get 1 extra coin as part of the action. The security action lets you increase your security value by 1 space on your security track. For each advancement, as part of this action, you must pay the coin value shown in the zone your cube advances into. The first few increases are the cheapest. Once you reach 10, place the excess security token at the bottom of the track with the +10 side showing and reset your cube to 0. Add this value to your cube's value to keep increasing the total. If reaching 10 a second time, flip the token to the +20 side and reset the cube again. Any increases past 10 will always cost 4 coins. You'll get a discount of 1 coin when you use a yellow security worker to take the action. The Jeeple Garage action lets you advance up your Jeeple upgrade track, giving you income bonuses and more route tokens to use. Plus, when you reach the top of the track, you earn 7 victory points immediately. Place a worker to do the action and pay the coin cost shown in the zone your cube advances into. If you use a purple park ranger worker, you pay 1 coin less for the upgrade cost. When you cross a threshold into a new zone, you immediately earn a new route token and a Jeeple bonus. Place the route token below your park to join the rest. Then choose one of your unused Jeeple bonus tokens and add it to the notch next to the zone. Immediately gain that bonus. Remember too that you'll earn these bonuses during each income phase of a round. To summarize them, this one gives you any 2 basic DNA. This gives you any 1 advanced DNA. This gives you 2 coins. This increases your security up the track one time for free, and this gives you a worker from the supply. You choose the color. The last action possible here is to make dinosaurs. You can use any worker color to make a single dinosaur of any type. Dinosaurs can only be made and placed onto dinosaur paddocks in your park. Without a paddock, you can't make a dinosaur. The base cost of a new dinosaur is shown at the top of the paddock tile. New dinosaurs are added to it from left to right in the 4 slots. The extra DNA cost to spend will be shown at the top half of the dino slot it will be placed in. Often, the first dinosaur to be placed in a paddock has no extra DNA cost. Spend DNA by moving your cube downwards on the appropriate DNA tracks on your lab board. Once paid for, take a dino meeple of the appropriate species and color from the supply and put it in the slot. Then gain any threat and victory points shown in that slot. The lightning bolt reminds you to do this immediately when placing a new dino. You'll increase your victory points by the amount shown and increase your threat level by the number of red dots shown. If your threat level reaches 10, add the excess threat token to the bottom showing the plus 10 side and move your cube back to 0. Do the same again when hitting 10 a second time, flipping it to the plus 20 side. The Jeeple Tour comes after private actions and is done simultaneously. The Jeeple must start on the Welcome Center tile or the park entrance and move to an adjacent tile. Move it to an adjacent tile in any direction and put one of your available route tokens on the tile just exited. The Jeeple cannot return there for the rest of this tour. Each time the Jeeple enters a new tile, you may choose to activate it or not. When activating a tile, follow these few steps each time. Start by placing one or more workers of the shown type on the open slots. To activate the special building and attraction tiles, you must place at least one worker there. The dino paddocks don't require a worker. This first step is just placing the workers. Triggering the actions on them comes in a later step. Sometimes placing workers requires you to spend excitement. You must spend it to place the worker. If you can't place the worker there. Next, gain excitement equal to the excitement value printed on the bottom of the tile, minus the value of the boredom token, if there is one. Advance or regress on the excitement track as necessary. If the excitement value is at a negative value that you cannot spend because you don't have enough excitement yet, you cannot activate the tile. This negative cost is in addition to any excitement cost for placing a worker in some cases. After resolving the excitement, then increase the boredom value on the tile. If it was empty, add a value 1 boredom token. If a token was already there, increase its value by 1, replacing the token with the higher numbered token. So the more you activate a tile, the more visitors grow bored by it. 5 boredom is the highest value, so it can't go higher than that. After all these steps, now you may take the action printed on the tile. By placing more than one worker, you can do the action additional times, once per worker placed. The dino paddock tiles work a little differently. First of all, they don't require you to use a worker. They show a series of excitement values at the bottom of the tile, which correspond to the dinosaur slots above. When activating the tile, add up the excitement values for each slot that has been filled with a dinosaur. Subtract the boredom value from that. Remember, this total could end up being a negative excitement value. Also, if you have no dinosaurs in the paddock, you cannot activate it. Next, increase the boredom on the tile by 1, just like the other tiles. Finally, you must roll a danger die to see if there's any accidents. Grab the color die matching the dinosaur's type. Roll it 1 time, no matter how many dinosaurs are present. For each skull and crossbones, gain 1 death token. Once the round marker cube is moved to the end space on the notice board, the game ends. Some final scoring takes place first. Players will get 1 victory point per 5 coins collected. Extra DNA isn't worth anything. If a player reaches the end of the VP track, use the victory point excess tokens to track going past 50 or 100 points. Now for some negative points. See which players collected the fewest death tokens. They get to discard all of them. All the other players get to discard that same number from their collected tokens. Anyone who still has death tokens should now take a look at the death token chart in the rulebook and on the reference cards. They lose victory points based on how many deaths they still have according to the chart. If you have more than 10 deaths, you'll lose 15 points first, then an additional 3 points for every death over 10. At this point, whoever has the most victory points wins the game. If there's a tie, the tied player who has the most leftover DNA wins. If there's still a tie, whoever was last in turn order wins. During the game, if you have questions about how any particular tile's action works, check the reference in the rulebook on the back. They categorize the tiles by their type and give a full explanation. Keep the rulebook handy and check BoardGameGeek.com for FAQs and extra content. The Meeple Mentor channel is now part of the board game community, the Gateway Network, made up of great upcoming board game content creators. The network includes Instagrammers, podcasters, YouTubers, artists, and much more. Head to thegatewaynetwork.com to support new and independent board gamers. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Like and subscribe if you found this teaching helpful, and stick around to watch another Learn to Play video. And remember, teach when you can, but always be learning. See you next time.